Hello everyone and welcome on Deux Papiers de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be testing with you some texture with watercolor. All this painting is about experimenting with a new technique, so maybe the image, the final image will not be very interesting, but all the process is very interesting. So today I will be using watercolor, of course, but also plastic wrap and some wool. So I start by putting some color on my paper with a lot of pigment, a lot of water, so that I have the time to work my texture and it will dry quite slowly. Here I'm using quite a lot of pigment because watercolor has a tendency to dry a bit lighter, and also when you're using texture, sometimes it can absorb the pigments. As you can see, I've put some wool in my palette and I will let it absorb the pigment and water it contains. And I'm also sprinkling a little bit of salt on my paper at this point. And then I will take the wool and put it on my paper while everything is still wet. And I'm also adding some piece of wool just wet in my pot of water without any pigment to see what it could happen. Here everything is about experimenting. And without waiting, I will put the plastic wrap on top of my paper and my wool, and I will add again some more pigment and water. I'm loading my brush a lot with pigment and water, and then I will place it between the plastic wrap and the paper and let it flow in my paper, so that everything is nice saturated in water and color. In order to maximize the effect of texture, I'm using some straight colors and also some granulated colors like Viridian and neutral tint, and it will separate on the paper and make again more texture. And now I'm letting it dry under a little bit of weight so that the plastic wrap is nicely pushed on the paper. Once it's completely dry, I will take off the plastic wrap and the wool and play with the cat a little bit, and then I can attack the second layer. For this second layer, I have two choices beforehand. Maybe going abstract and just enhancing colors and that's it, or maybe doing something more realistic. So I decided to go with a realistic version, and I'm trying to represent some bushes and grass and something like that. And to keep a certain unity in my paintings between my first layer and my second layer, I stay with the same color in the second layer. So Viridian, Quinacridone gold, burnt sienna, those kind of colors. And that's it. And now I'm using a very fine brush in a dagger shape. It's very handy to draw some grass because it's very fine. But I made my first mistake here because as you can see before, my wool was quite rolled up and make a very rounded shape, but my grass is very straight, so I have an unbalance here. And I think it was a mistake. To prevent this mistake, I could have make my wool more straight at the beginning, or I could have draw my grass a little bit more rounded, like lianas, for example. But even if I say it's a mistake, it's not a big deal because here it's all about experimenting, and the experimentation doesn't stop at my texture. It's also what I will make with it. So here I'm learning that I have to plane a little bit more at the beginning in order to be able to work with my texture later. But anyway, I'm trying to make my painting works, so I'm adding lots of brush strokes, color and darker color in order to get something interesting. And I'm trying also to change the color each time I dip my brush in the palette in order to get that a little bit more natural effect. And basically I'm trying to save this image by adding more complexity to it. This way of creating texture with some plastic wrap and something in between the plastic wrap and the paper is very interesting, and I do like that technique a lot. And I'm quite inspired to use it again, maybe with some other tools like leaves, dry leaves, or I don't know, but I'm very interested in that. And it's by using this technique again and again with different materials or different way, I will tame it a little bit, and I will learn how to use it in my own way and how I like it. Maybe it will be a long process before I'm comfortable with this technique, but it doesn't matter because it's fun to do, and also it doesn't need any kind of drawing skills, because all the painting is done with the texture, and I'm just adding some details with my brush. And now let's talk about supplies. I've used an Escoda Aquario number 18 and a Raphaël brush Petit Gris 803 number 2 and a Black Velvet 1/4 inch silver brush. For the color, I've used Cobalt Blue, Viridian, Quinacridone Gold, burnt sienna, and neutral tint. And my paper is Canson Héritage in rough. And I'm also using a plastic wrap, some piece of wool, and a little bit of salt. So it was a very funny painting to do, because I really don't need to draw in this painting, but all the painting is done with the texture, and that's fun for sometimes. It's relaxing. And the video is now ending. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Don't hesitate to comment below. I'm responding with great pleasure. And check the blog post for more information. See you soon.